Man, in today's video we are going a couple steps backwards. We are getting the entire body cut back off, moving it forward a little bit so that way we can fit the front end better. We get the front end fitted on here. We also get a seat thrown in. And also, really quickly, I wanted to remind you that tomorrow, May 19th, is the absolute last day that you have to enter to win the 1988 LS swapped Honda Accord. We're talking V8, rear-wheel drive, powered by Holley, BC Racing coilovers, a phenomenal car, really cool. If you want that thing to be in your driveway, now is your very last chance. Let's get started.
And now, you're watching the VPK kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, and college graduation, enough with the graduations, channel of YouTube. Welcome to BodeVision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me yet again on another video. So in the last video, I made a mistake and then I said, well, we'll just fix it by radiusing out the fender a little bit. But to be honest, the more that I'm looking at it, that's not that big of a deal. But on the inside here, the steering wheel is way too close to the windshield. And if I wanted to get it further away, this would have to come forward. If this comes forward, that's gonna fix us over there. We do have about 1 inch to go over here that we can bring everything forward because this gap is pretty tight. It's a little bit looser over there, so that'll become more centered in that arch, even though it's centered in the upper arch. So in the back, we can do that. The dash will be further away from the steering wheel and the front will be fixed. I don't want to go backwards, but it is what it is. So I'm going to cut out all of the work that I recently did, cut a couple tacks along here, get my chain rigged up again, lift this body off, tap it forward, and then be back to exactly where we are right now. All good that we got to go a couple steps backwards, but it's going to make everything a lot better in the end. So let's cut out these tacks, get this body ripped off, and then move it forward. So if you've been keeping up with the series like you should be keeping up with the series, I'm sure you're sick of me going up and down with this thing. So this, I promise you, will be the last time because I have it 100% dialed in. So if you can see right here, you can see that's how much we moved. That weld and that weld is the same weld except it moved forward by that much. That guy over there, I have everything clamped. I have a jack under it just to make sure it is not going to move. So if we come over here, we can see that everything is looking good. There's a weld right there. It moved forward by that much. I checked a whole bunch of reference points. I'm happy with where the tire is located. The distance back there and the distance back there is about the same. But overall, that 1.5 inches that we move forward is going to help us immensely in the front. And I think the back still looks good. Now, was it a pain to go backwards? For sure it was, but it's going to work out better in the end. And by tomorrow, I'm gonna forget about it and be happy with the project rather than continuing to push forward, not being happy with it. I think this was the way to go. So now let's get this welded in and then we will worry about getting the front end put together, which we have a little bit more room now. Now that the body came forward, we have more room for the front end. Good stuff all the way around. this is what I like to see. So now that the car is one unit for hopefully the final time, this is definitely going to be the final time, it is time to start to trim the front of the CRV so that way we can eventually work towards getting the front end of the El Camino on there. Anything that's going to be in the way, I just need to get rid of it. Alright, here, so what have we done? We have done a lot of cutting. Cutting that is a little bit intimidating to do, but it is definitely necessary to make this work. Some people might say you shouldn't cut out that much structure because it's going to become weaker, but if you don't cut it out, you're not going to finish. So we need to cut out everything that is in our way. We will worry about structure when we are worrying about structure. Right now I am worrying about making this happen. Now the funny thing is about a CRV is this engine bay is a Honda Civic engine bay. So many parts on here are just Honda Civic parts. For example, down here we see a bolt hole that would have been used if this was a Civic, but since it's not a Civic, that bolt hole is buried under different structure, almost like adaptation structure to make it a CRV instead of a Civic. Also over here is a Honda Civic hood prop holder, but that's buried under some of these adapter pieces. So essentially this engine bay is a Honda Civic engine bay, which is one of the last things that I painted. I'll show you a picture right here of a Honda Civic engine bay that I just did, where we shaved it and painted it. I thought it'd be really cool if this engine bay ended up looking pretty similar. With this entire thing, my plan is to go with a really nice paint job, nice engine bay paint, nice motor, turbo. I want this thing to look good and confuse people at the same time because of what it is, but those confused people are gonna say, man, this thing that's kind of weird looks good. So let's keep it rolling. Now that I got all of this cut out of the way, let's try to fit on this front end and see how far we can get. So this is the point of the build right here where things should start to move relatively quickly. We took our time with the body. We made sure it was in the right spot. We went back a few steps just to pull it forward. Now that we pulled it forward, everything is fitting a lot better. And let's see what kind of room we have for this front grille bezel piece. It's not actually the grille, it's more like the grille bezel, but that is going to be our width. That's going to pull this guy and this guy to the right distance apart. If these are the right distance apart because that grille can fit, then we know that our hood is going to fit. I'm saying grill where the grill goes in there, but you know what I mean. Come on now, so let's see what we got. Didn't get lucky on placing the body on the very first time, but let's see if I get lucky with the grill. So this bumper, the bumper section from the Honda CRV, that can get out of our way. It will need to get out of our way because I kept the bumper connections for the actual steel bumper. But enough talking, man. Let's see how this thing fits. Are we money? Or do we gotta go back a couple steps? I don't know about you. That sounded like money sliding together. Let's see. Clip that in. That clipped down. Dude, this looks really good. Can I get this one? That clipped in right there. Perfectly buttery. That width is now perfect. Now we have to make sure all of this is centered because we have a little bit of wiggle room with our bungees, so we just gotta make sure it's centered. So now we got the front end coming together. The fenders are at the correct width because this is setting it. The hood is going to set up in the exact place that it needed to be. The hood sits on the fenders itself. I have one hinge on that side, missing the hinge on this side, but I have it in a bucket, so the hood is gonna fit. I need to get a grill. Headlight bezel is going to be perfect. This bumper needs to go away. Then we are going to have the other bumper, and the front end is dusted. Just like that, it is coming together really quickly. So what I want to focus on now that we know our width is correct, we have our A-pillar section here that I cut out before. So I want to rig this up, weld it back together, because at this point I know everything further down the line is at the right spot. And then we will eventually get the doors on here. I want to get these bars cut out. We're making awesome progress at this point, man. Really good stuff. So here, logically, what I would like to do next is keep the front end going together. I gotta order a grill, I gotta order the headlight bezel, I gotta get the headlights. There's also little marker lights on the bottom. I gotta get the bumper sorted out. But that's really just getting way ahead of the game. And then what we would have to do is tear the car down and then focus on adding structure, making things functional. For example, I need to make sure the rain coming off of the windshield is going to end up in this trough right here. And this rain trough, or where the water would go, this is where the CRV was set up. It drains behind the fender on the passenger side, drains behind the fender on the driver's side. So I have a little bit of metal right here. This high ridge needs to go away because I need to direct rainwater into here that comes off of the windshield. So all of that is going to be under this. I'm going to weld in there, grind it, make it nice and smooth. And then we have this guy right here that is going to cover some of that. So that looks really good. That's going to finish it off nicely. And that's what the plan is to work on for the next few hours. So let's trim this, start to come up with a structure, and focus on making sure that this car doesn't just look like it's gonna work, but I want this to actually be a decent car in the end. So let's take our time and get that knocked out. So with the cowl section, I like how it is going. It definitely looks a little bit weird right now, but keep in mind the hood is going to be right here. This is probably going to be black, or maybe the color of the engine bay, or I'm not quite sure yet. Right now it does look weird, but I think it'll get better as we start to finish this thing out. Also, I wanted to point out that you need to keep, well, you don't need to do anything. I need to keep a air gap under here because that's where the air gets into for the AC and whatnot. That's how it was set up from the factory. I also have a piece right here from the CRV. Now I don't know if this will be of any use to us because this kind of prevents water from getting in over here, but this is a little bit too tall. I know on a Civic one it doesn't jump up like this, and a Civic one would fit here, so maybe a Civic one would kind of fill in the gap a little bit better. Maybe I don't need to do anything at all, or maybe I just add something to it custom, but I'm just kind of walking you through the process of my mindset of where we are at this point. So now we have these corners that obviously need to be finished out as well, but I don't want to put anything in the corners until we get the front end back on. So it's kind of like a process of tack some stuff, set some stuff up, see what we're doing, see what we got going on. And I'm just going to come back to this once the front end is actually on here. So the next thing that I want to do, since we are all secured, the body is on there good and tight. It's German spec, man. It's good and tight. So I want to get these bars cut out of here because I'm sick of seeing them. Once the bars are out of there, then I can put the seats in there. Once the seats in there, I can see how my driving position is going to feel. I have a feeling that I'm going to be pretty close to the windshield, so what I'm thinking and where my mind's at right now, we can pull the steering wheel back with a little extension piece. They sell them for racing and whatnot. If I have to pull the pedals back a little bit, I will. The only way to tell is to cut out the bars, sit the seat in there, and see what that does. And I just realized I am out of cutoff wheels, so let's take the shop truck and run up to the store real quick. We gotta grab some cutoff wheels. I wanna grab some Sawzall blades, maybe a couple other things. Let's knock that out, get back, and then remove these bars. Woo-hoo. You know it's a good morning if we're out here cruising, just shop truck, good time, man. And we got the sun crazy right now. Oh, where you at? Dude, the shop truck runs so good. Something that I wanted to remind you of really quickly. Where you at, Bo? Alright, so here we are at the store to pick up those supplies. I was trying to film a little bit while driving, but the camera was just going crazy. Anyway, so this truck, a few weeks ago, we installed the Holley Sniper EFI 2. Now it has been nothing but phenomenal for me. So the guys at Holley actually reached out to check to see how everything was going, and then they let me know about the Memorial Day sale, so I wanted to let you guys know some of those things that are going on all the way through May 29th. The Holley Terminator, that's like $300 off. That's what's running the LS swapped Honda Accord. This guy, the Holley EFI Sniper 2, that's in here, that's like $275 off. I just looked briefly. Those are some of my favorite sales. There are a lot more sales to check out now through the 29th. I put a link in the description down below for you to check out. So go check out Holley, man. Support the people that are supporting the channel. Really good stuff over there. So let's run in the store, get what we need, then get back to the shop. Don't know why I'm counting. Man, she is looking good. All right, let's grab what we need. All right, and just like that, we are back at the shop. So let's go ahead and get to cutting. Oh, I'm dropping stuff over here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. I feel like most people would say the quote, you know, look at all this room for activities, but I don't say stuff like that. Oh, if the seat doesn't fit, what are we gonna do? There we go, baby. I knew you'd make it. I'll put you in later. Let me get this puppy lined up. So with everything being so much more forward, we are going to have more room back here than the El Camino would normally have, because the El Camino dash comes back a little bit more. The seat is, you know, kind of laid way back in the El Camino. But we'll see what we got going on. I don't want it to be goofy in the end, you know, so this seat can go back, the steering wheel can maybe come back, the pedals will maybe be extendo clipped out. Oh, there we go. And this is me just kind of thinking out loud. I think it'd be cool to get some kind of Japanese style in here, like Recaro seats and then Japanese wheels on the American body. It might be a cool mixture. It might not be. I'd have to think about it. All right, so let's see how the cockpit of this puppy is gonna be. Ooh, we got a low roof line here. Yeah, that's gangsta. That's what we like. Okay, how we doing? How we doing? To be honest, this don't feel too bad. I am a little bit close to the roof, but I kind of like this laid out feeling. I'm a little bit far from the steering wheel. I'm not going to be mad if I gotta lean back a little bit in order for this to all make sense where it is. I wish this could come down more. Maybe I can space out the rack a little bit, but I'll have to see if the angle looks okay. But to be honest, how do I look, man? Not too close, not too far. That's a little close, but if I pull the steering wheel back, my feet feel good. If the steering wheel was right here, I'm laid back a little bit. Steering wheel right here, if we get the extension, if I can pull it down, I have really good pedal reach, really good ability to shift gears. Everything feels good, everything looks good. And I'm happy with where we're at, man. This is a really good feeling. Sitting here, race car sounds, the whole thing. And now that I'm looking at it a little bit more, I feel like I'm way off the ground right here. If I got a Civic seat, an Integra seat. I really like Acura Integra seats. They are probably one of my favorite seats out there. If I just got an OEM Integra seat, it would probably bolt right in. I know at least 3 of the 4 would. I might have to weld a little bit of an adapter on it. But dude, that would put me down a little bit more. I wouldn't be so close to the ceiling. I can straighten my back out a little bit. And I think we have a really good thing going on here, man. This is surreal that it's kind of working, because something like this isn't supposed to. Dude, you know I had to pull it out of the shop so that way we could take a look at it. The front end is fitting really good. The hood is gonna fit exactly where it needs to go. The bumper, the grille, the headlight bezel, that's pretty much done in my opinion. It's not gonna take much time to get that all sorted. The cowl area right here, we have a little bit more work to do with that. I wanted to throw the fenders on so that way I can see what else I have to do. I also have to focus on kind of adapting the engine bay for it to look good. I don't want it to look like somebody put a CRV inside of an El Camino engine bay. I kind of want it to all blend out so that way it looks nice, because in the end I want this to work, number 1. Number 2, I want it to look nice, and number 3, I don't know what number 3 is in this case. So we got the seat in. I think I want to go with a lower seat because this seat's a little bit high, but naturally I think the CRV is just set up that way. But either way, I'm happy with that, happy with the front end, happy with everything that we got going on, and I'm happy to let you know that this is your last chance to win the 1988 LS Swapped Honda Accord. Again, tomorrow, Sunday, May 19th is your last chance. I don't know how many times I can say it. Just go ahead and grab it, because the giveaway is going to be over, and then I will stop bothering you about it. So as far as this video goes, we went backwards a little bit to come forward a lot of bit, and I'm really happy with where we are at. So go ahead and hit that link down below. Leave a comment. Let me know how your uncle would have done it with his El Camino, because everybody has an uncle with the Elco. So thank you so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff. You know what it is, YouTube. We'll see you on the next one. I'm out.